Welcome back into another episode of the Daft on Draft podcast. Today we are diving into the Penn State defense. This is actually the last team-oriented pod we're doing, and we're moving on to positional breakdowns after this. With that being said, we will have some overlap, and we might as well just we'll probably re-talk about it a little bit, but kind of graze over those ones and tell you to revert back to pods that we've talked about when we talk about the same prospect. But again, here as always with Dalton Miller, ready to talk about this Penn State defense. Again, Penn State offense was earlier this week. A lot of okay players on this Penn State defense, Dalton. I don't know how you felt about it otherwise.
A lot of upperclassmen, and I'm very, very ready to go through positions and watch legitimately good football players, and not just a bunch of fifth and sixth year guys who might be fringe NFL players. It's just a lot more exciting, and I actually got into it with a couple of corners, and it rejuvenated me in my tape watching. So I'm happy about that. But like you said, I think decent football players. Let's not downplay that. Like Penn State's defense is going to be good, because they have a lot of experience. They have a lot of upperclassmen on this defense, and they are good football players. But when we talk about them from an NFL perspective, they don't have, and this is something that was a struggle for me as I was watching them. I'm watching Danny Dennis Sutton. I'm watching AJ Harris. I'm watching Ziki Wheatley. I'm watching Zane Durant. I'm watching Dominic DeLuca. I'm watching Rojas. No, I'm not, because Abdul Carter is on the same field.
Yeah.
And no matter what I do, my eyes are gravitating towards number 11 being an absolute freak of nature. And so that made this a little bit tough. But I think we need to start with the biggest elephant in the room, which is that Danny Dennis Sutton, 6'5", 270-pound, former 5-star edge rusher.
He's not a Penn State edge rusher. Don't clump him in with those other guys. Yeah,
he's the first guy off the bus.
Oh my God, yeah. He's very much the Penn State athlete, but it doesn't really translate to the football field. Doesn't really translate to the football field much at all with him. I am like, as we've been doing this, we have had so many like very soft 270-pound edge rushers, and I'm tired.
Why are there so many soft 270-pound edge rushers right now?
It was the same thing with Mateo Uyunglele when we talked about Oregon, and now it's Danny.
I understand everybody wants to win on the outside. Everybody wants to win outside track. I get that. But as you've brought up, and as guys like, trying to think, oh my God, why can't I think of his name? The Saints edge, Cameron Jordan is not a super explosive athlete, but he's been consistently good for 12 years because he can run through him face.
Yeah.
And if you can do that, you can win on the outside. You can win on the inside because you can win through their face, and they have to be able to defend against that. Mm-hmm. And if you were 270 pounds and you cannot extend your arm out, plant your feet, and push the sled, what are we even doing? You might as well be 240 and more explosive. Just flat out.
If you can't convert speed to power, have fun.
And not only is Danny Dennis Sutton 270, he's 270 and he is a thick boy.
He's a big dude.
He has great density in his lower half. And he's explosive too.
His best rep on tape is a coverage rep in the college football playoffs.
Good athlete.
Like, if we're being honest,
but I don't even think he's a great reactive athlete.
Mm-mm.
I think he's got heavy feet in transition. I think as a proactive athlete, which as a pass rusher, you're going to be proactive more often than not. I think that there's a lot to like there, but I also I kind of think his arms are short.
I could pull that up actually.
Which is a trend with Penn State athletes.
It is. His arms are 33 and 1/8.
Okay, that makes sense.
Verified.
Because when he stands up, his fingertips ain't going down past his knees. You know what I
No.
mean? And at
Yeah.
6'5", it does get a little bit more difficult.
Yeah. At a verified
And
6'5" and a half, 265.
his wingspan is fantastic, and his hands are huge. So like his wingspan's 82 and a quarter, which is good because he is broad, but
Mm-hmm.
it's just such a lack of power.
Yeah. It's yeah. He does have day 2 grades, summer grades from
And
the NFL.
he'll go day 1 or day 2 because of
Oh, day 1 would be
he's going to be a
such
blue
a
he's going to be a blue star guy. He's going to be a blue star guy because he's a high character guy. He's 6'5", he's 265, he's got huge hands. And I think this is part of the problem as well with a lot of these guys. Like, it's a lot like, why does the big dumb dude get so big when he doesn't know what he's doing in the gym? Well, it's because he's a psychopath and he works really, really hard. And at the end of the
Mhm.
day, if you're like kind of crazy and you just are a psychopath, you're going to get the results. And I think more intelligent and like thoughtful people, especially defenders, especially defensive linemen, I kind of need you to just be a killer. And Danny Dennis Sutton just might be too much of an intellectual. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And it's kind of the same thing with like how people were talking about Justin Herbert. And is it a little bit unfair? It might be. But I watched my brother, who was 6'3", 220 pounds or 210 pounds in high school, play defensive end, but he was just kind of soft.
Yeah.
And I love my brother to death, but like he didn't have that killer instinct. And Danny Dennis Sutton and these edge guys coming up just might not have that killer instinct.
If your brother's a listener to the podcast, I apologize on your behalf.
Well, he's a power lifter. He could deadlift 600 pounds, so he could literally throw me out of the gym. But he
You're
wouldn't
scared to move
because he's
back
too
home
nice.
now.
He
Dalton's
wouldn't
not going
because he's
back home
too
now.
nice. Yeah.
That's funny. Let's move on to the other defensive lineman that's getting quite a bit of hype, and I do see the justified hype a little bit more with Zane Durant, defensive tackle, because again, we're talking about another Penn State freak. Like again, if we're talking first guy off the bus, Zane Durant as well. Even though he's a bit undersized as a defensive tackle, verified
6'1",
at
290. 6'0", 290.
yep, with 32-inch arms. But Zane Durant is ungodly explosive, and that's a lot of times works for his advantage and a lot of times works against his advantage as well. Just watching his tape, it's a lot of firing out with the head down, and I just come away thinking like this is the easiest defensive tackle to trap that I've watched in a while, or like this is the defensive tackle who's just going to linearly run himself out of plays a lot of the time.
If you want to know who Zane Durant is as a player, all you have to do is watch uh Kalijah Cansey at Pitt
Yep.
or Malik Collins for the past 10 years.
Canty was a way more slippery as a pass rusher for sure.
Oh, as a pass rusher for sure.
Malik
But like
Collins
that
that's not
same
terrible. I like the Malik Collins comparison.
No, I think that's exactly like if Zane Durant is going to have a productive NFL career, it will be as a Malik Collins type of guy. But my
6'2",
issue
280
with
Malik Collins. That's I
yeah,
like that.
my issue with it is there is a lack of pass rush production from him. Despite and I know that there's a lot of read step and he doesn't
Mhm.
always get to pin his ears back. But like even when he does pin his ears back, the hands aren't where they need to be, in my opinion, as a
Mhm.
pass rusher. His feet are outrageous. And I mean, we have estimated 40 times on our little database here, and it's saying 4.76. If he, I
That would
mean,
be outrageous for a defensive
even if
tackle.
he runs a 4.85, like a 4.9 at 290 and 6'1", I mean, he's sawed off. He's tough to move. He's not just like physically. He has the juice to hold up as a defensive tackle. A lot like Kalijah Cansey. Kalijah Cansey was a little bit shorter. But like he's a different player, and I think a lot of people will probably end up giving him the Ed Oliver comp as well. And he's just a
Mhm.
completely different player from Ed Oliver. So I don't like that comp.
Yeah.
From a body style, it makes a little bit of sense, but Durant Durant is fun, but it's fun in flashes, and
Yeah.
he's going to be a good run defender. It will either be as somebody who is read stepping all of the time and is playing with consistent responsibility, gap integrity,
Mhm.
or it's going to be as a poor run defender,
And a gap
consistency
shooter.
wise, and he's just going to be disruptive as hell.
Yep. Yep. I was thinking like this is a Jim Schwartz defensive tackle where all he wants his defensive tackles to do is just shoot gaps. That's all
Yeah,
he
yeah,
wants his
yeah.
guys to do is just shoot gaps.
Rod
Yeah. And
Marinelli type of
they
defense.
just signed Malik Collins this offseason. The Browns just signed Malik Collins this offseason
Yeah,
too.
it makes
So,
sense.
and they drafted Mason Graham, who did do a lot of read stepping, but is much more of an explosive, like let that guy shoot gaps kind of defensive tackle. And Mike Hall Jr. at Ohio State as well, the same kind of athlete. So Zane Durant, you might as well just be a Cleveland Brown. Just figure it out now. Uh,
Mhm.
yeah, I like Zane Durant. The difference between like Malik Collins, him, Ed Oliver. I'm glad you brought up the Ed Oliver thing. Is I do think he's like Ed Oliver and Collins have a little more wiggle in their hips to reduce surface
Yes, they're
area.
looser.
Yeah, Durant is very stiff, very linear. Explosive is God like given gifts linearly, like through the chest, but he doesn't have that ability to like turn a corner, ability to change directions, things like that.
Agree.
Quite the way that a guy like Ed Oliver or Malik Collins can. He's a really fun player. And again, we're talking about a guy who hasn't even played at football at all yet in 2025. So there is a step that can still be taken right now, getting mid-round grades as well from scouts over the summer. Do you just want to move to the second level now, Dalton?
Yeah, let's just
Take it one
move
step
right
at a
on to the
time here.
second level.
All right, we got two linebackers here. I'll let you talk about the one you were raving about.
Yeah, and we kind of have three linebackers if we really want to talk about it because Elijah Rojas is also there, and actually Elijah Rojas played more snaps than Dominic DeLuca did, but I think Dominic DeLuca gets a lot more of the talk because he had a little bit of production in the passing game, and that helps. I think Rojas is the better run defender. DeLuca
Mhm.
played a little bit, even at like 235 pounds, would even play a little bit of overhang and kind of like a pseudo strong safety role as well as that third linebacker. But for me, neither of those two guys that played at Penn State are the guys that I really want to talk about. The guy that I want to
Mhm.
talk about is North Carolina transfer Amari Campbell, who, ooh, buddy, really enjoyed him.
Yeah.
Impressive cognition when it comes to like zone match looks. I really like a guy who can cover and is intentional in their ability to cover. You know, that Notre Dame kind of intentionality that I talk about in coverage.
Yeah.
He keys quickly, turns and burns up the seam. He is really strong downhill burst. He's got long arms. He's got vice grips as a tackler. He's gap sound. He's not afraid to mix it up. He and um again, like that ability and that desire for violence against climbing offensive linemen that you just don't see from linebackers anymore.
Mhm.
Some guys will do it every once in a while, but they'll just like put their head down and try to mash into a, a blocker and lose sight of what he's supposed to be doing. That's not what Campbell does. Campbell will come downhill. He will mix it up with offensive linemen, but he will still see through their shoulder and try to pick up the football. And he flashes some pretty strong lateral agility as well when it comes to like being in the
Mhm.
open field and mirroring ball carriers. I think that he is a little bit of an ankle biter sometimes, a little bit too much for my liking as a 230, 235 pound linebacker. The problem is, and this is a problem that really needs to be solved, is when he does, his more form tackle stuff, is a lot of dropping the crown.
Mm.
And he drops the crown in crowded areas, and that just scares the hell out of me as
Yeah.
a person who has one had multiple head injuries, but two, I don't want to see guys get their neck and spine crunched. It's not
Yeah.
cool. Um, but I think out of the three linebackers who are like legitimate NFL players, I think he is the NFL player. I think Dominic DeLuca might be a guy who, late on day 3 or as a PFA comes in and finds a little bit of a role on a team. But I think Amari Campbell, and Campbell is, believe, going to be a junior
He is
or a
junior, yes.
redshirt junior.
He's a junior, yeah.
But he is the best linebacker on that football team and should be the starter. I don't think he probably will be because Penn State really likes to, first of all, rotate their linebackers. So I think that there will be a heavy rotation between the three. But like Kobe King got all the snaps last year.
Yeah.
And I think like DeLuca and Rojas both not as good, but could have taken some of the snaps away from Kobe King as well. So we'll see what that rotation looks like between the three. But I do think Campbell's the best of the three.
Yeah. I would agree with that. I do question, like, do you think 4.7 is good enough speed to make it at the NFL level at 6 foot 230, probably like 5'11", 230?
He runs better than a 4.7. I can
You
guarantee
think
you right
so?
now. Yeah, guaranteed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, it's plenty fast enough because we watched Josie Jewell
it's
run
all
a
reaction.
4.8.
Running back and linebacker are all reaction based positions.
We saw
so,
Josie Jewell
yeah.
run a 4.8 and become a
Yeah.
productive NFL linebacker.
Yep. Again, it was I think I've mentioned it on this podcast quite a bit, but Jordan Reed talked about it with running backs. You can run a 4.6, but if you're reactive and you play with fast eyes and quick feet, you're a 4.6 running back. If you run a 4.3 and you're slow with your eyes, and you're a 4.6 running back. So linebacker's a little bit the same way because it's a very instinctive, intuitive, reactionary position. AJ Harris, man. AJ Harris, it seems like, has grades all over the map from people right now. The scouting community tends to see him as a mid-round to day 3 player. Corner is a premium position. We always have a day 2 run on corners. I think it would be hard to see him come out of, like, not be one of those players drafted in that, like, day 2 run of corners.
I agree. I think when it comes to being it's tough because I love the stickiness. I love he's naturally quick-footed. He does a great job mirroring, like, especially like complex routes. Like, I really want to see how guys are able to stick to like a blaze out, to see how they react at the line of scrimmage to more complex release packages and things of that nature. And he's really, really good at all that.
Yeah.
He just kind of gets his ass kicked. And that's the problem is you can be 185, you can be 180, you can be 175, but you have to be tough. You have to be like arrogant and physical. Yep. And I just see him getting beat up. He was dominated by the Ohio State receivers in the run game. He got bullied by 88 multiple times. Like, do not line him up with a tight end. Going to get beat up at the top of the route. He needs to be more patient at the line of scrimmage. His eyes are too high. Big, like, heady release packages. He's going to get beat on. And so, like, there's some discipline issues in his technique. I don't love him in cover 3 leverage, which stinks because he's got good length. I think he's really good as like a cloud defender. I think the midpoint awareness is really strong. And I like that he has experience for multiple alignments. But the problem is when you put somebody like him in the slot at the NFL level where you need to be able to fill, I don't think that he fills real well. I don't think that he's a great run defender. So he needs to be on the outside, even though I think that the experience inside out and a little bit even pushing back to safety at times is good. And as a coverage player, I like him, but there's just not enough sharpness to his game right now. And he's young, so that could come. But he also just needs to play with that arrogance and physicality that you see from the top of the line corners.
I would agree with that. At the end of the day, football is a contact sport. And I think this is where early when I started doing this in like 2019, 2020, even 2021,
you see
I was so focused on feet, technique, tools. Even like we talk a lot about with edge rushers and things like that. Even wide receivers, I've talked about how a lot of my bigger wide receiver misses are like these guys are elite route runners. They're really good separators, but they can't freaking catch the football through contact. They can't freaking get open through contact. Jerry Jeudy is like a perfect example of this. And again, yeah, Jerry Jeudy made a Pro Bowl last year, but like I don't think Jerry Jeudy is a number one wide receiver. Elijah Moore, a big miss for me because he was always open running in a really spread out offense at Ole Miss, and he could run like he could chop it up. You put that guy in the NFL offense and he can't play through contact at all. So like football is a contact sport. You have to be able to play through contact. And if you can't, no matter how long you are, no matter how technically refined you are, no matter how toolsy you are, like you're going to get beat up. You're going to get beat up and you're not going to hang around. And so like I think that's been a huge adjustment in my scouting mindset is like the tools are important. All this other stuff is important, but if you can't punch back, then the sport's not for you. Like,
couldn't agree more.
And I think that's kind of where we're at with
It's
AJ Harris.
Okay, that was
like
a
I'm not
bit
that
rough.
hard on AJ Harris.
It was a little bit rough. This sport
that came out really
rough.
rough.
Be a third round pick. Like,
yeah. I think he's probably like a top 125 guy. Top 125 guy. Yeah. I think I always just throw out Browns players on this podcast in comparison, but like Greg
What's what you know the most? I mean, I talk a lot about Cowboys players too.
And Greg Newsome is a corner he kind of reminds me of because Greg Newsome is twitched up. He's athletic as hell. Man coverage out the wazoo. For one, he missed as many games as he played in college. And that's kind of carried over to the NFL with the soft tissue stuff. Two, the dude can't freaking tackle. The dude can't play through contact. It's been kind of the thing. He is the Browns starting nickel, but like he won't sling into a run fit. So like it's just kind of the thing that you kind of gotta watch these guys. Like, at the end of the day, are they willing to? And that's why like some guys who aren't elite athletes like make it because they are like Elijah Molden, Budda Baker are two guys that I think of right off the top. Like Budda Baker's tiny. Budda Baker's not an elite athlete. Budda Baker will go pound for pound with anybody.
Jordan Lewis.
Like, yeah.
To bring up a Cowboys player, Jordan Lewis.
Like sometimes that's all it takes. Can you go pound for pound with the man across from you? So I'm not overlooking that hard. So
how are you?
Mikey Sanders
How are you
he's an elite athlete, but yeah, he's 5'8" and he's playing outside corner in Washington. Like, yeah. So yeah.
That's
we got
it for AJ Harris. Let's move back to the back end.
Yeah,
Zakee Wheatley.
Zakee Wheatley is another player here with day 2 grades entering the season. Well, day 2 grades from one of the firms from NFS and a 5th round grade from Blesto. So there's a little difference there. Mid-round grades, we should say.
Yeah.
He plays a lot of single high, and some of those single high guys are really hard to evaluate. Because they don't get a lot of action as tacklers. And 2, do you really care that much about them as tacklers when they're playing? Like, their responsibility is to cover over the top 15 yards off the ball. Like,
well, I do care. And you know why I care? Because I watched Marcus Williams try to go from the Saints, where he was playing single high, to Baltimore and immediately stop playing football.
And that's fair. Like, if you are going that sort of like scheme shift, but I think Kalen Bullock from USC, drafted by the Texans, is a good example of this. That dude can't tackle. He's a really good free safety in Houston, though. It's like, because they don't need him to tackle. They don't need him to come up and hit.
But that's the thing. It just severely limits your landing spots. Severely.
For sure it does. Your scheme versatility. I think that's a little bit of the case with Wheatley here. What's he estimated at here in terms of athleticism? I do want to look that up real fast.
6'3", 200, and he's estimated 4'6'5".
4'6'5". So not an elite athlete. At 6'2", 6', 198.
Again, I don't know where these 40 times are all coming from, but I think
probably
he's going to run better. I think he's going to run better than a 4'6'5". I think he's going to be a 4'5'8" to 4'6'0" guy.
Yeah, which still isn't elite, but again, as we've talked about,
also the other thing that we have to understand is these 40 times don't mean anything, because at the end of the day, he is a Penn State player, and that strength and conditioning will get. I mean, he's probably going to come out and run a 4.45, even though like on the field he runs a 4.6. Like that's just the way it goes at Penn State. I mean, Mike Gesicki, that dude looked like a dad out there.
Yep.
When he was running, and then you went to the Senior Bowl,
like a 41-inch vertical.
Yeah, you go to the Senior Bowl, and he takes his shirt off, and you're like, oh, he's massive, like jacked. I was like, this dude, it looked like a bag of milk on the field. He didn't look like an athlete. I mean, and he caught everything. And then he goes out and he jumps like 40 inches and runs a 40. Like, it's just what Penn State does. Their strength and conditioning program is unbelievable. Like, are these guys running Turinabol before the combine? Like, how are they doing this? It doesn't make sense that they all perform so freaking well. And so, like, for me as a QE, I think that his on-field speed is better than that estimated time. I think that as a single high player, even when it comes to like not having like elite cognition skills, because I don't think that he is unbelievably heady. Like, he's not a Jesse Bates type guy. Also, Jesse Bates, another guy who can't really tackle all that well, but he's an elite free safety.
Yep.
I like Wheatley. I think he's a good player. I like a lot of the stuff that I see from him in the slot, and especially like being 6'3". Like, he has like a big, like long corner build.
He's very long,
which is a lot like what's his name last year, who didn't play last year because he was hurt, but he was a big time safety prospect from Penn State, and I can't think of his name.
Kevin Winston.
Yeah. Reminds me of him because it's like I could see him being a corner. Like, I could see him being a corner with his build, with the way that he moves. Absolutely. I like a lot of his slot reps. I think that he's fluid for his length. It's just tough because you don't really get to see him in those split field, split safety looks that you're seeing so much at the NFL level. So you're not seeing as much of the read and react. Like, how does he go from 2 to 1? What is his peripheral vision like? I think that he reads QB intentions pretty well. I think that there are times where just Penn State, I mean, and you saw this with Winston as well when he was playing on the back end in 2023. It's just like they play so safe at Penn State. They playing like Greg Williams, like 35 yards off the ball, like immediately, like there's no read step, there's no fit or freeze because he's not in the run fit. And so, like, when he is playing center field, he's just like darting 35 yards back, and it's like, okay, now the dig's open. Like, what are we doing here? And it's not his fault because it's obviously taught, because I've seen 4 Penn State safeties go through this already. It's just annoying because it takes away from my ability to properly project this football player to the NFL level.
So, worth noting, Penn State did hire Jim Knowles as their defensive coordinator this offseason as well from Ohio State. Jim Knowles is notable for his 3 safety defense. So we'll see a lot of a lot different of a role for Wheatley coming out here in 2025.
I'm super excited about that because, I mean, we saw what those Ohio State safeties were able to do, especially number 8. And Wheatley ain't number 8, but I hope we do get to see him a little bit more, or a lot more, around the line of scrimmage, and a lot more when it comes to. But Ohio State runs a lot of cover 3 as well. I do think they rotate their safeties a lot more than Penn State does. Like, Penn State doesn't rotate their guys a lot. There's a lot more travel with them, and a lot less versatility with the way that they deploy their guys. So I am hoping that Knowles switches that up, and we see a lot more versatility from Wheatley this year.
Yeah, I completely agree. He's a fun player, fun build, fun frame, fun athlete. Let's just see him play not in Timbuktu in the next state over. So,
yeah, and I did want to bring up, we got measurements after we talked about the offense. Yeah. So let's just bring it up real quick. Drew Aller, tight end.
He is a verified
240,
6'7", or
35.5-inch arms.
Yeah, that's a big lever to throw the football with.
Tight
end, estimated 4.75. Yeah, that's a big boy.
Tight end.
Well, can't get much stinkier. Yeah. Yeah. Man, that's a drag of a way to end the episode by bringing back up the quarterback that I don't like.
I'm sorry. I'm
talking
sorry.
about.
I'm sorry.
It's all good.
Listen,
But yeah,
it could be Sean Clifford. So let's
well,
not.
that's true. There have been a lot of bad Penn State quarterbacks over the years, and he's not even near the bottom of that list. So,
Is there just a complete side note before we leave? Is there a more surprising draft pick in the past couple of years than Sean Clifford in round 4 or whatever it was?
no, that's pretty bold.
Just
Pretty bold.
shocking. Just shocking.
Yeah.
Anywho.
Yeah, that's it. Again, as we said, we are moving on to positional talk next. We're going to start with corners. So, kind of the cadence. We might still break it up with a adapter draft in the middle, but we have enough players that we could probably break this up by like 5 corners a day and do 3 episodes of corners if we needed to do that as well. There's a lot of names to get through in this corner class. But yeah, that's all I got, Dalton.
That is all I got as well. As always, guys, I love you. I'll let Corey take it out.
Yeah. Another week down, another week closer to the off season. We've kind of, I guess I do have something else to say. We've kind of discussed that Dalton's move back to the Midwest is well, I guess the East Coast, not the Midwest.
Very
Dalton's
not
moved back to the same time zone is probably a good time with the football season coming back around too in August to head back to 4 episodes a week as well. So we got a nice little break there of 3 episodes a week, but moving back to 4. So we're getting close to some action, to some live football action again. But until next time, this has been the Daft on Draft podcast.